Hey everyone, and welcome to this brand new explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously incredible journey that pretty much reshapes everything we know about how our world works. We're basing our deep dive today on the visionary 2026 framework presented by Nasr Al-Munifi in his work, The Liquid Planet. Look, we are living right in the middle of a radical civilizational shift. We're rapidly moving away from this rigid, solid world, a world ruled by incredibly strict physical borders, and we're accelerating into a dynamic, liquid reality where everything just flows with unbelievable flexibility and speed. So get ready, because we are about to completely rethink geography, economics, and honestly what it even means to be human in this digital age. Okay, let's dive into this and ask the jarring question staring us right in the face. Why on earth is your passport becoming obsolete? Now, hold on. This doesn't mean you can just toss it out before your flight tomorrow. What it really means is that the fundamental idea your passport represents is rapidly eroding. The idea that your identity, your inherent value, and your literal place in the world are exclusively determined by a piece of paper issued by a bordered state, that's fading. We are living in this wild paradox right now. Our institutions are still operating on old maps divided by hard lines, but our daily, lived reality, it doesn't recognize those lines at all anymore. To actually see this clearly, let's just run a quick thought experiment. Picture this. Imagine a diplomat who lived way back in 1650, right after the Peace of Westphalia basically set up our modern nation-state system. Suddenly, boom, he wakes up in the year 2026. Now, at first glance, he totally recognizes the world. He sees countries, governments, border checkpoints. He's thinking, great, my system is still intact. But give him a few hours and he's going to be completely baffled. He watches billions of dollars transfer across entire continents in a fraction of a second. He sees ideas, digital labor, and creativity just traveling instantly, totally bypassing his beloved physical borders. He'd look at us and ask, wait, how are you running this incredibly fast-flowing world using tools built for a frozen one? And this brilliantly illustrates the massive paradigm shift we're actually living through. It's like we literally have one foot stuck in the solid world we inherited from 1650, built on rigid borders, physical scarcity, and this very exclusive sense of nationality. But our other foot, it's firmly stepping into the liquid world of 2026 and beyond. And this new reality is entirely defined by instant digital flow, technological abundance, where knowledge just replicates for free, and a beautifully multi-layered identity. The growing pains and the crises we feel globally today, it's simply because our old maps just don't describe our new terrain anymore. Moving right along to Section 1, from geography to topology. So, in the solid planet, geography was basically your destiny. Exactly where you were physically born heavily determined your life path. But in the liquid planet, we are shifting from geography to topology. Now, I know topology is technically a mathematical concept, but socially speaking, it means we're moving to a system focused on who and what you are connected to in a network, rather than where you physically happen to be sitting. Your network proximity absolutely trumps your physical proximity now. Think about it. If you're a digital artist based in Jeddah and you're selling your work instantly to collectors in New York, you are technologically much, much closer to the Manhattan art scene than you are to your literal next-door neighbor who isn't plugged into those same digital networks. You can honestly see this shift playing out everywhere. Take power, for instance. It used to be this very strict, centralized hierarchy. Today, it's highly networked and decentralized. Economically, we've completely shifted from hoarding scarce physical resources and obsessing over owning things to a system that thrives on abundance and prioritizes access. I mean, why own a car if you can just access a ride on demand, right? And ultimately, our very identity shifts from being this single border-bound label to something that is multiple, dynamic, and totally driven by the values you share with communities all across the globe. Which brings us to Section 2, AI as a partner. To really understand the engine that's driving this whole liquid transition, we have got to talk about artificial intelligence. But specifically, we need to separate intelligence from consciousness. Intelligence is simply the ability to solve problems and achieve goals using data. And let's be real, AI already completely excels at this, whether it's predicting global weather patterns or just managing city traffic. But it completely, utterly lacks consciousness, the ability to actually feel, experience, and assign true meaning to things. An AI might be able to write a profoundly sad poem, sure, but it's never going to actually feel grief. And this distinction is incredible for us because it frees humans from having to be mere units of production, and it elevates us to being the ultimate guardians of meaning and values. So the crucial point here is that we aren't hurtling towards some dystopian future where machines just replace us. Actually, scratch that. We're moving towards something called algorithmic symbiosis. It is a totally new economic and social system where AI brings the blistering speed and massive data analysis to the table, while we humans provide the creativity, the empathy, and the moral judgment. AI isn't just some fancy software tool you use. It is quite literally our new cognitive partner in this liquid era. Let's ground this in reality with Section 3, High-Tech Cities of Tomorrow. Because, listen, this isn't just academic theory. It is happening on the ground right now, particularly over in the MENA region. Look at Dubai in the UAE. It doesn't operate as a rigid walled city. It operates as a global node. With a massively expatriate population, a virtually fully digital government, and their introduction of what's essentially liquid citizenship through the golden visa, they're just abandoning this solid past entirely. And then you look at NEOM in Saudi Arabia. This is the ultimate network city. It's being built from the ground up to run on 100% renewable energy and AI-driven infrastructure. In these cities, data and pure connectivity are being treated as vital national resources, and they are seamlessly blending this cutting-edge digital flow with their deep cultural heritage.
Now, Section 4, Steps to Liquid Citizenship.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how actionable it all becomes for you personally. Nasr outlines 15 practical steps to actually adapt and thrive without borders, and here is the first half of them. First up, you have absolutely got to master digital literacy and AI tools. They are literally the new reading and writing. You need to actively build a value-driven digital identity and jump right into the sharing economy. Also, because knowledge flows so unbelievably fast now, continuous, lifelong learning isn't optional anymore, it's mandatory. We also carry a responsibility to create and support digital content that reflects our specific cultures, all while practicing highly ethical citizenship online, fiercely protecting our personal data, and getting involved in open source communities. And as we run through the rest of these steps, it becomes super clear that liquid citizenship is all about proactive participation, not just sitting back and passively consuming. It's really about balance. You have to actively ground your digital life with actual, real-world human connections. Go get a physical coffee with someone. It's about acting as an ambassador, sharing your knowledge freely, and constantly ensuring that technology serves human values rather than dominating us. You can absolutely respect global cultural diversity while staying deeply, proudly anchored to your roots. By actively participating in digital governance and championing your local digital economy, you aren't just surviving this crazy transition, you're actually becoming a role model for it.
Which perfectly sets up Section 5, the Liquid Planet Manifesto.
This brings us to a really powerful philosophical climax for today's explainer, the Liquid Planet Manifesto. Think of this as our new social contract. It starts with the incredibly bold declaration that your identity vastly exceeds your passport, and that true value in this world lies in the constant flow of ideas, not in hoarding them away. In this liquid reality, we completely reject zero-sum games simply because open cooperation creates so much more abundance. We pledge to use technology as a bridge, never a wall, protecting our roots without locking ourselves inside fortresses. We demand absolute algorithmic transparency. We completely redefine success as the impact we make rather than the stuff we own, and we fiercely defend the planet as our shared home. Ultimately, this manifesto is a hard commitment to practice liquid citizenship every day and take full responsibility for the future we are actively building. You see this liquid future? It isn't some distant sci-fi promise. It is a rushing current that is fundamentally reshaping our world right at this very second. The rigid, solid systems of the past are literally fracturing under the sheer weight and speed of this digital and cognitive flow. But the future isn't just handed to us. It's actively forged by the specific choices we are making today. So I want to leave you with one final, absolutely vital question to chew on. As the solid world melts away all around us, will you stand safely on the bank, clinging to the past? Or will you dive headfirst into the current? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.